Hey guys, welcome to another how-to video with Matt Waters. Today I'm going to show you how to make this rustic style step stool for either your pets or your kids. At first, you're going to need a few things. Alright guys, so this project is super easy, so you're only going to need a few basic things. First, you're going to need to get yourself a decent skill saw. Then you need to get yourself a pocket square. You need to get yourself a marking device such as pen or pencil, doesn't matter. Then you need to get yourself a tape measure. Then you need to get yourself either a hammer and nails, or you can get yourself some screws and an impact driver. And it doesn't hurt to have some wood clamps. And for the lumber that we'll be using today, you need to get yourself a scrap piece or a new piece of 2x10 lumber. Then you need to get yourself some 2x4 lumber. Now this piece right here, guys, is reclaimed 2x4. So this is actually a true 2x4 inch board, right? But you can use regular 2x4s. Just do the exact steps that I do with these boards, but do it with your 2x4 boards. And the last thing that you need to get is yourself a miter saw. It just makes cutting those straight cuts a lot simpler than using a skill saw. Very first step that I want you guys to do is to take your 2x4 lumber that you're using, right? And I want you to cut out 3 of these boards at 18 inches. So make sure you go ahead and cut yourself out 3 boards at 18 inches. Then I want you to take your 2x4s and cut out 2 boards at 15 inches. So for right now, we can take our 2 15-inch boards that we just cut and just stick them to the side for right now. We'll need them later. Now you want to take your 3 18-inch boards that you cut, and you want to take your 2x10 board, right? And what you want to do is you want to take all 3. This is just to make it so much easier so you don't have to do a bunch of measuring. And if you're using regular new type of 2x4s, yours is going to be different. So just watch how I do this. Just line all 3 boards up at the end, just like this. Make sure it's nice and flush, all 3 boards. Alright. You want to get that nice and flush as possible. Alright, so then what I want you to do is to take your pen, your marker, pencil, doesn't matter which you do. Alright, so for your first board, right, make sure it's nice and flush with the edge right here. Throw you a mark right there. Just go ahead and mark that. Then you want to go back 1, 2 boards exact. Put you another mark right there, right? So then what I want you to do is take your speed square. Alright, so now that you got your 2 marks up here, you're going to go ahead and pop your line all the way down on this side and flip it over and transfer it. So that's going to be the back of your first piece, right? Then at the front with your first line, what I want you to do on your speed square, you got measurements, right? Line it up right here at the corner and come down and mark 4 inches. So that's what we did right there. We put it right where our mark was. We came down, we marked 4 inches right there, right? So now what you do is go to the very edge, mark you another 4-inch line right there, and then you're just going to transfer that line straight to that line, just like that. So now you know what you need to cut out, and if you need to help you, just throw a big X right there. You don't no longer need this corner, so we're going to cut this out with the skill saw, and we'll cut this line down with the skill saw, and we're going to repeat that 2 times. We're going to do this for this one, and we'll slide it down and do the exact same thing again. So let's go ahead and get that cut out now. So I'm going to go ahead and make my first cut, which is the back side. I'm just going to go ahead and put my safety glasses on, and we're going to go ahead and cut this out nice and straight. Alright, so now that we've cut the backside board right here, what I want to do is line it up nice and flush, nice and level with the front sides and on the sides right here, guys. Then I just want to take my pen and go ahead and mark this on the backside. Just like that. So now we know we can go ahead and cut that line, but first, before we cut that board out, we're going to go ahead and cut out our square right here, and then all we'll have to do after we cut this one is line it up nice and flush, trace our square out right there. Alright, so let's go ahead and cut out our square piece right here. And when you're cutting, guys, you don't want to go past your mark right here with your saw blade. You want to just come right up to it, and you want to stop. So I'm going to go ahead and do the first cut right here real quick. stopping just shy of where that line ends, right? So now we want to come over to this other side and do the same exact thing. You don't want to go past your mark. You want to let these marks meet up. So now that you've got both your marks met up and you didn't go too far on both sides, you can just simply take a hammer, hold it nice and steady, and go ahead and pop the rest of that out right there. And it'll come on out, and sometimes you might need to take your saw and go a little bit closer on the edge, but you can just bust all that right on out. Alright, so now that we've got our square right here cut out, we can go back and now line it up, make sure it's flush in the front up here and lined up on your mark that you made on this board earlier. And then what you want to do is just trace out the square area right here. And if you want to make sure from your cut that the lines are going to be nice and straight, you can always take your speed square and give yourself some nice straight lines to cut to. Just like this. Alright, so now we can go ahead and cut our second board out. Alright guys, so once you've got both of your 2x10 boards cut out exactly just like that, and they line up and match well, you got some options. You can either stain this your color of choice. Some people like to paint the bases white, but I would rather go ahead and hit this with the sander on the back where it's rough cut like that. Now we want it to look kind of rustic, but I don't want all this nastiness on the sides hanging off, so I'm just going to quickly sand that, just the edges real quick, smooth, and then we're going to paint this base part white, and then let's get to it. I'm just going to sand over these edges like I said, nothing special at all guys. Just want to get rid of all that trim debris. Real quick guys, so after you have stained and painted it all the colors that you want it to be, right, you're going to take your 3 18-inch boards that we cut. You want to lay your first one in on the groove right here and line it up with the front, and you want to make sure the other one's lined up with the front. Then you can go ahead and either shoot you 2 nails or screws right here. And if you want it to be really fancy looking, you can use a countersink tool to drill your hole right here to shoot your screws down into. I'm just going to be using nails for today's project. Alright, so then you want to take your other 2 pieces and you want to stick them up top. You want to make sure that the front one lines up flush with the front right here. Right? Then you want to come around to the back and be sure that your back one right here is flush with both sides right here. And you can either go ahead and just shoot your 2 nails or screws like I said, here, 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 here. Then with your 2 boards that we cut that were 15 inches, you're going to place one at the very bottom first, and then you're going to screw or nail in from both sides right here. I suggest 2 screws or nails. And then you want to stack your other board right on top of that, and that's going to give it just a little bit of space right here. But we go ahead and nail this end together, and then all the nailing's done, and it should be ready. Alright guys, so there is our step stool completed. Everything's been nailed together and painted the way we wanted, and I wanted to leave my boards unstained because it already had that natural reclaimed look to it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to hit that like button down below for more, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Peace.